Hey, what's up YouTube? Today we're going to be doing a vacuum pump seal removal and replacement on my Mk6 GTI. You can see it over to my, well, I guess it'd be to your right, to my left. Or is that vice versa? We don't know. Anyway, let's get it going. The tools required for this job, we're going to need some form of a ratchet. I needed pliers or vice grips, sorry. So basic hand tools. I didn't even really use the air ratchet. I used actually just a socket. You need a 10mm T30 extension, 17mm vice grips, and just depending on what airbox setup, I don't even know what the factory one would be. Maybe you don't even need things. This might all be just flathead end clips. Alrighty, so the first thing we did was just to free up some space, remove the air intake, well, just a portion of it, I guess you could say. Alright, so we've got rid of that sensor. I do believe we still have to take off that back there. Trying to decipher what 3 bolts need to come out. We got to take out this bolt here and down there with a T30. Get that high pressure. Okay, because I got my fuel pump disconnected here. Can't really see it. There it is. It's underneath there. See that? Thankfully, we got enough bite on that. Pretty shitty bolt. Literally washed them. So anyways, we're gonna remove, I don't know why I keep saying relieve, we're removing the 2 T30s that are holding on this high pressure fuel pump as we speak. After that, try not to lose any of these bolts down in the engine bay. I just went for a drive to get coffee about an hour ago, so this shit is hot. Got a little dirty. Now theoretically, this should just slide right out. I've got a paper towel here just to... Holy fuck, let's try not to lose the spring. And there's your high pressure fuel pump. Yeah, it's right there. We also removed, right down in here, see this little screw bit here from the fuel? Remove that just to get a little wiggle room. Fuel line. Move the Okay, this shit's all full of fuel. Wow, or oil. But anyway, yeah. So anyway, I'm gonna take those and put those on rags actually. So the last bolt, in fact, is straight back down. And I do believe if you can see it, it's gonna be right. You can't see it. Anyways, let's get the damn thing on. But there's no room on here for that. Fuck. Okay. This doesn't work. I'm gonna take this one up by ratchet. Ratchet only. Fuck off. No way. Either way, here's my makeshift tool because it is perfectly in line with this brake reservoir, and you cannot physically get a ratchet and everything in here comfortably. So I found just to do your T30, put the thin side up of your vice grips, thin side up, get a little bite and turn her down counterclockwise and she'll break free. Now just bear with me a second and try to get some form of a visual aspect of this. So you're not really gonna see it. It's kind of the best I can do with a cell phone. So you can see what you're trying to do when you're looking straight up from the top on it. And right there, I just grabbed it and gave it about an 1/8 of a turn. And it's finger loose now anyways. I think, yeah. It's freaking warm. I just drove. There's the bolt. Okay. Now it should just slide out, hopefully, I'm hoping. It's gotta come off that camshaft. Okay, so we've been doing this not on cam, unfortunately. So what I want to try to show you quickly here is, got the gasket changed. I already got it all separated. It's in there all the way around. Now it's just a matter of lining things up, putting bolts back together. So you get the ground back on. Let's just not forget any of the steps that we've taken here. At least get everything kind of hand tight. So anyways, we had to remove that ground to free up space from this harness. We tucked this harness down below and we pulled her straight back. Now I was trying to get this nozzle thingy whatever off. I didn't want to fuck with it. It seems brittle. There's like 3 or 4 different lines attached to it. I was just like, you know what, I'm just gonna cycle it back, and that's that. So that being said, I pulled it straight back and wiggled it out. Now here's what the gasket looked like coming out. And just for your reference, because I didn't show you during, how did it sit? Right. Gasket sits like this within. So these are your bolt pattern. That one that my pinky's on, that was the tough one that's back at the very back. Now the cool thing, at least with these, is they got these little snap fittings. So snapped it in place where I needed it, wiggled it back on. A little bit of a tight fit, wiggling back on. I wish I could have left it off to show you, but it's like I could barely see without holding a cell phone. So it's more so by feel, but you're exposing the cam, and there's like a cam channel inside this bell housing, I guess it would be considered. When you're putting it on, just be very patient, take your time, wiggle slowly in and out, back and forth until it catches and slides on with ease. It has to slide on with ease. You won't break the camshaft guide or whatever that is, but you will break whatever is sliding in this, I believe, bell housing. So you want it See, it's not flush right now. You want it sitting nice and flush, easy. And then we're gonna start putting our bolts in. Just get our nice long T30s in. One thing that was discouraging is the one that I pulled out of this one, there was a bunch of metal shavings. So I don't know what was going on there in the past. Don't like that thought though. Just checking my threads to make sure they're not missing any. Going to the bottom one here. I do believe it was right around there. Just get her finger started, finger tight, or at least started. We know we're not stripping any threads. And the last one's up top, at the back here. Right underneath this harness. I should have left that out, I guess, you stupid idiot. These are, I think, aluminum or, yeah, I don't know, but they're very soft, not hard to strip, so these don't need to be overly tight. I don't even know the torque specs. I'm gonna have to look it up. Oh my god, why are we even doing this? That one's giving me a little bit of a tension problem there. Let me tell you, they're probably like no more than 10 pounds. 10 foot-pounds, I should say. Because like I took these off with ease. Literally. Say a quarter turn to a half turn tighter than hand tight. I'm doing is I'm makeshifting my little wrench here. So we went downwards. If I could just grab this fucking thing now. Can't see. Now we want to go upwards. And I do remember that we didn't get more than 3 of these little quarter turns out of this, so that's a pretty good idea of how tight this shouldn't be. I think I might be overdoing it. I don't want to. I can't seem to slide it back on here. That's good. I'm gonna say that's good. This guy up here was. Inserted. Should have maybe made sure that was nice and clean. We'll cross that bridge when we get to it. I'm trying to get high pressure fuel pump put in here, but we don't want to lose these. We do not want to lose these. I feel like this was the one that was on the bottom based off of its color. Now I'm just basically finger tightening them. I didn't even snug that one up yet. I want it to basically finesse in evenly, sort about that. Do this smart. Line it up with our fingers first. And maybe try to get her hand tight. Hand started? I don't think so. We'll just back it off first. And then go in now. Just to make sure we're not... This is very soft. I believe they're aluminum bolts here. So you don't want to be cross-threading these. It's very easy to cross-thread these, I find. The high-pressure fuel pump, I really should have looked up the torque specs. Because it is spring-loaded, so you want to go back and forth with this. You don't want to put one tight, one loose. Otherwise, you're potentially could crack or break the spring inside. I do remember that from doing this to my Mazda Speed 3 back in the day. And we will be doing that to this. So this is a key thing that you're gonna have to do if you plan on going KO4 or bigger, which we are. So look forward to that on our channel here. Is high pressure fuel pump and injectors. First we're getting the KO4 put in, running the Unitronic Stage 2 Plus map. It doesn't state that we need any of the following. But once we get more familiarized and maybe dyno tuning, then we'll add injectors. We'll add the high pressure fuel pump internals like I was just stating, which is this part that I'm working on here. So next up here, just make sure everything's getting lined up. This isn't tight yet, okay. So we snugged up our high pressure fuel pump and the overall bell housing is snugged up. All we really need to do now is fuel. And that could be a real treat. But that's this aluminum fitting here. Got to get it lined up and started. Wrench, 17 mil. Is that guy? That's good. Nice and snug. All right. Slide that up. Put our clip on. Sensors crap in the way. Those brackets. So we got that snug. There's that little guy we were talking about down in there. See that? It's a self-tapping screw going into plastic. Again, doesn't need to be tight. There you go, just feel it grab. Alrighty, so the first step we did was we removed the air filter, or actually, in our case, we just removed this 90-degree elbow and mass airflow sensor. After we removed that, we freed up a ton of space there. We remove this clip. What you want to do is, it's up and out. I don't want to mess with it right now with one finger. And anyways, it's just take your time with it. After you pull that out, like our first guy we're gonna remove is, oops, right there, sorry. That T30, just to relieve some slack on that fuel line, which leads you, if you run down it and back up to that brass and aluminum 17. When you're removing that, very carefully, slowly, maybe wear safety glasses. It has high pressure, so fuel will spray out. I have a cloth still down there, just absorbing it all. It should all be done actually. I'm already done the job too, by the way. So I'm just kind of recapping because I couldn't do this all and hold the phone at the same time, unfortunately. So my bad, guys. So back on topic. Release the tension on your 17 there, your fuel line. After I did that, I came back up top of the bell housing here and I removed this T30 to give this bracket some slack. I removed that ground and pretty much that freed up the whole unit. After you get behind the intake, well, there's only 3 bolts. The steel gasket. And that wraps things up here with the Mk6 GTI. Gonna hopefully create a lot more of this kind of content for you. I know there's a ton of it already out there, but I couldn't find anything regarding the vacuum pump seal for the Mk6. So that being said, that's that. There is one video I found helpful, but it was in Russian and I don't speak Russian, so I kind of just decided that we needed to make one in English. So thanks again for your time. Hope you enjoyed, hope it helps. Peace and love. Thanks a lot.